Security kicks woman out over outfit, regrets when they realize who she is. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. The guards at the Orsay's museum were trying to kick her out just because of what she was wearing. She thought that her outfit wasn't even that revealing. But apparently, the security staff at the museum thought otherwise. But they would have to face the consequences later on. One would think that in this day and age, it's not really an issue whether what a woman is wearing in public is modest enough. After all, it's 2022. We should be past beyond that. But apparently, the paintings aren't the only thing straight out of the 19th century at Orsay's museum. The security staff's morals were too. This story took place recently at the Orsay's museum in Paris. It happened to a 24-year-old Parisian woman named Juliette. Juliette is a history of art PhD student and influencer. She had been looking forward to one evening at the museum, taking pictures and notes for social media and her dissertation. Little did she know that the security staff had other plans for her. Juliette has always had naturally big breasts. This has often been a problem in her daily life. For example, she complains about sometimes being catcalled on the street. She has also commented on how sometimes people seem to reduce her to this physical trait and don't treat her as a full-fledged person beyond it. This is how she explains it. I feel ashamed, I feel like everyone is looking at my breasts, I'm just my breasts, I'm just a sexualized woman. For this reason, quite often, she had to be particularly careful with her outfits to avoid unwanted attention. But still, this didn't save her from an extremely awkward and uncomfortable moment. Juliette didn't give much thought to the outfit that she would wear to Orsay's museum. It wasn't one that she would wear in a more formal setting, like a job interview. But this was a museum. She was going there for leisure, it was nobody's business what she was wearing, and she didn't have to care about what anyone thought of her. Or that's what she believed. There is a lot of academic literature on museums being sexist institutions. Most of them point to how most of the paintings exposed in them are authored by male artists, or about how the content of the paintings represent some sexist values. But sometimes, it goes beyond that. The staff working at the museums can be sexist sometimes too and discriminate against women who visit them. It was her cleavage that provoked the incident. She didn't even think it was that revealing. It was just a printed dress with a V neckline. She didn't expect it to cause any problems. However, the dress accentuated her naturally large breasts. And the security staff at the museum was about to take a personal issue with that. So that summer day, Juliette had left the house wearing her new dress, excited to spend the evening looking at paintings. It was her first time wearing that dress and she had bought it specifically for the occasion. But when she finally got off the subway and walked to the museum's door, the guards there just stared at her up and down. They wouldn't let me in, but nobody told me why, they looked at my cleavage and that's all the gesture they made. Juliette recounted the incident. And that wasn't all. They also made her an inappropriate suggestion. She couldn't believe what she was hearing and she even felt insulted. This is what they said. They suggested that Juliette cover herself with a jacket that she was carrying with her. She was utterly bewildered by this suggestion. What kind of right did they have? I don't want to put on my jacket because I feel compelled, I feel ashamed, I feel like everyone is looking at my breasts, I'm just my breasts, so just a sexualized woman. Finally, Juliette agreed to wear the jacket so that she could be allowed to enter the museum. But she had another trick up her sleeve. She wasn't going to let it slide and she certainly wouldn't let the security staff get away with what they had just done. So that same evening, she knew what to do. Juliette shared her story on her social media and filed a complaint to the Orsay's museum. She was outraged, hoping to get a reaction or at least a response. And soon enough, she had it. When Juliette checked her social media just a few hours later, she was surprised by how her story was being received. As of today, almost 40,000 users have retweeted her story on Twitter. And there is a point that many of them insisted on in their replies. Many users have pointed out how hypocritical it is to ban the entrance to a woman based on her more or less revealing outfit, considering how many works of art exposed at Orsay's museum depict naked women. Soon enough, the museum itself made a tweet commenting on the incident. We have been informed about an incident with a visitor about her visit to the Orsay's museum. We deeply regret it and apologize to the person involved. What do you think about this story? Do you think it's justified for museums to enforce a certain dress code, or was it just sexism from the security staff?